welcome to Make Your Passion Pay. I'm Luann Beekler, creator of the Make Your Passion Pay Playbook, your host and guide on this exciting journey to building joyful and successful work environments. Known as the Little Spark, I've helped countless individuals and businesses ignite their potential through transformational coaching, creating thriving businesses and joyful workplaces. I have experienced the challenges of leaving toxic workplaces and building something better. I bring firsthand wisdom to help you align your work with your values. With insights drawn from working alongside world-renowned leaders and a deep passion for community and connection, I'm here to show you how to lead with joy and purpose. Let's dive into today's episode and start making your passion pay. Welcome, everybody, to today's podcast, Make Your Passion Pay. I'm super excited to be here today. I am the creator of the Make Your Passion Pay Playbook, the 6 C's to how to monetize your passions. And I am so excited today to have Paul Whitten with us from Nashville Adventures. Now, he has quite a story of how he started his business based on his passion, right, Paul?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
So welcome, and tell us your story. Tell us how you got started.
You got it. One of my favorite things to talk about. We'll be pretty efficient, Miss Luann. So I started Nashville Adventures after learning and screwing up everything else I've been doing in life beforehand. And that's the God's honest truth. I truly believe you learn the most when you screw up immensely. That is usually when you make the biggest adjustment in behavior in life. Uh, I
And
was
so
in the United States.
let
Mhm.
me add in right there because I think there's an important message right there. So forgive me when I interrupt you. This is how I roll, okay? And that is that we indeed are learning from every mistake, every challenge that we have. And if we can always look at them as that, what is in this for me to learn, right? It's a way better way to go through life than beating yourself up for what we perceive as perhaps a failure or a mistake, right?
Amen. Yes, ma'am. So I
All
was
right.
I enlisted in the Army at 18. Did pretty well in the Army. Was able to go to the Citadel. Went to Afghanistan. Got hurt over on a deployment. That was into my time there. Was going through surgeries and things like that. All this nasty stuff I was going through at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And after my surgeries, I had physical therapy in the mornings, and as a way to kill time in the afternoons. I just volunteered to give tours at the Patton Museum in Fort Knox. I don't even know if the Patton Museum is still there, Luann. I ain't gonna lie to you, Miss Luann. I was in the Army about 15 pounds ago. So the Army's a little bit different than what it was maybe 15 years ago when I was in it. But after I got out the Army, I was blessed with the opportunity to be a UK parliamentary fellow. Did that for a year, and then I went over to the Peace Corps, and I did 3 years because I went through a hippie phase, and I was in the Republic of Armenia. After that, I did Amazon, corporate Amazon, and after that, I decided to start Nashville Adventures. Um, the Army taught me how I can kind of walk into a room and really kind of focus and hyper focus on what I need to do to get done, as per required as in Army terms, the mission, in civilian terms, any objectives that were in front of me. Uh, the UK parliamentary fellow taught me that no matter what room I get into, we're all equal idiots. I used to have this grand notion that whenever I was in a room with really, really important people, they had something on me I didn't. Either that'd be a higher IQ or some special sauce that transcended normalcy that brought them to that table. That ain't true at all. These guys are all big as idiots as we are. They're just one difference I would maybe say is they are a little bit better at faking it until they make it as compared to the normal population. But it's not an IQ differential. After that, the Peace Corps taught me how to make teams, integrate teams, create cultures, and Amazon taught me that I never wanted to work for Amazon ever again. But Amazon taught me how to work with big budgets. Everything I learned in there led to Nashville Adventures. Every mistake that I ever made, every career I've ever looked to that I realized I didn't want to do this anymore has led to this. Oftentimes I get asked, Miss Land, your resume is so good. It's not good. I just never knew what I wanted to do for the rest of my life until I started this business. I've always been a history nerd. I've always loved making money, and I've always loved public speaking. Combine those
Lo-
three, that's a tour company.
Right? So it's really knowing where you find your joy,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. I
Absolutely.
still
Where
look
you find
back
your-
when I was at Fort Knox, giving those tours for free. That was the most fun I've ever had in uniform. And I still remember fondly of that. And because of that, those ripples echoed 20 years later.
That's fantastic. I do find it interesting, someone coming from a military background then opening a business. I'm actually going to be speaking next month to a veterans group. And I'm
Woo!
super excited about that and hoping to help them find their passion to take their next step in life.
Oh, Miss Luann, if you want, I have some hot takes on that if you're interested in discussing on the podcast. I would love to discuss some things regarding that, but only if you feel the podcast should go in that direction. I'll let you lead the way, Miss Luann.
Well, I first want you to tell us about Nashville Adventures. Tell my audience
Mhm.
what that is.
Nashville Adventures is a tour operator, focuses on history tours, pub crawls, ghost tours, private events, corporate events, as well as coffee crawls and everywhere in between. We've done Morgan Stanley's private event, and we've done the West Point Entrepreneur Summit. We've done tours for bachelorettes looking to get hammered and not remember how much fun they've had in Nashville, down to a group of professors who probably combined together had 6 lunches the entire time in their high school because they were so nerdy they had their lunch money taken consistently for all 4 years. I was convinced of it. Like these guys were malnourished by senior year. They must have never eaten. But we've done everywhere in between. And that
So
is because I love
give
this.
me
Yeah,
give
sorry.
me some size parameters on that. Group size. I
Oh,
mean,
when I started, I still do this. We honor the ticket. So if we have 6 people on our history tour, we will honor that and give that tour to 6 people. It'll be the best tour they've ever gone on. For the history tour, our max, my comfort zone is 25 and under. Other folks is about 18 or 19. What we do is we don't do scripts in this company. We really like to justify our useless history degrees. So with that, it's unscripted and also tailored for that guide. The guides, whatever that special sauce that guide has. So generally 18 to 20 per tour, but we've done events for over 250 people at a time.
wow. And then do you split
Oh
them
yeah.
up into small groups?
Easy answer is yes. If it's a trolley tour, we get them in sections of about 25 to 30. Walk-in tours, about 20, sometimes 15, depending on the price point of this company and what we're dealing with. If it's a pub crawl, same thing. And everywhere in between, usually you split them up. Only time we don't split them up is if I'm doing a panel or something. If I'm doing a panel, if I'm doing a discussion, I'll take the mic and I'll talk to everybody. But that's only happened 3 or 4 times.
Sure, that's a different environment. That's public speaking when you're
Yes,
doing,
ma'am.
yeah, versus when you're doing a walking tour or a riding
Hmm.
tour, if you will, on some sort of vehicle. So you said something I really loved when we talked the first time. History is not best told behind glass.
That is the truth, and I stand by it. I got a real hot take over public history, and public history is kind of, I don't want to say failing, but public history or applied history could be doing better. There is the cult of the museum, and museums often tailor, there's plenty of exceptions to this, but tailor to other history fans. I really believe that if you combine the combination of passion, things told well in a manner that people are open to hearing and inviting, and you do it in the location where it happened, which draws emphasis to those events, then you make a connection with that group of individuals. That is going to retain as, and I'm going to use a real technical term here, Ms. Luann, stickiness. That stickiness will increase. People will remember it more than 30 minutes after they left the parking lot. And I believe that's the real goal there. If you can combine, at least for Nashville Adventures, if you can combine an entertaining format that stays with the people afterwards, uh, you ensure that people are going to remember and associate your company with a warm and fuzzy feeling, the location in which they're at vacationing, an increased warm and fuzzy feeling, and ultimately that's what they're coming to feel. People go on vacations to get that connection, that warmth, to feel that. And I like to think we're the conduit for people to feel that right when they arrive.
So the tourists or the tourism board of Nashville must love you.
The National Convention Visitors Corporation, yeah, we won their big hitmaker award. Yeah, that's right. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So it's really apparent, Paul, that you're passionate about this and you've shared that you're passionate about history. And so this feels natural to lead to that for you. How do you hire people that are like you?
Oh, Miss Luann, I tell you, I got an interesting metric, and it's different from museums and things like that when hire. I will especially when I first started, I don't really do it now because that's probably not the best HR. We have HR people we work with now who advise us not to do it this way. But when I was started, I would meet up at a bar and have a beer and talk about history. And at the end of 20 minutes, if I wanted to continue the conversation with them, or especially with them talking to me about history, then that person is hireable. Generally, in 20 minutes over a beer, I can find if the person's personable. I can tell if they're passionate about that subject. I can find out if they can handle alcohol, which is a major variable in this equation, to be completely honest as well
Is it
with you, Miss
really?
Luann. Oh yeah, when we deal
I
with pub
suppose.
crawls, oh yeah, you got to make sure they're not going to make a fool of themselves. And so when you combine all of that, it looks like, oh, and then you add one or two questions in that conversation to see if they're coachable. If you can find all that in 30 minutes, I'll send out an email that night asking them to on board based on that. We don't do that as much anymore because apparently, interviews in bars are kind of frowned upon. But nonetheless, I found that to be the best method of really finding out efficiently if someone would be a good fit.
That is awesome. So there's three key things. There's three key things I took out of there that everyone can use, right? Understanding if they're passionate about what the position is, if they're knowledgeable, about the topic or whatever profession it is, they need some knowledge, right? And then coachable. And I love that.
Amen.
As a coach, I absolutely love that, right? And we all need to be coachable. And so I used to work in an institution, and the
Mhm.
institution kept trying to hire people with all of the specialties in there. And I'm like, no, what we need to hire is for passion, attitude, and coachability, right? Like we can teach them anything if they're open to coaching. Not
Mhm.
maybe the history depth that you have, but almost anything you can teach them to work with. So I love that. So do you have
Well,
core
Miss
values?
Luann, you said it earlier, and
Go ahead.
you said, not the history knowledge. I have been surprised at folks' ability without the degrees, the letters, the whatevers, to dominate in a sphere of knowledge. I believe MBAs are overrated, and now I think Masters of Histories is an overrated degree. You nailed it, Miss Luann. Coachability, adaptability, knowledge base, but really passion and coach. If you can get those two, Miss Luann, I could not agree with you more. That is the special sauce of hiring well.
This is why I
Love it.
love helping people find their passion, because you are going to be most successful doing something you're passionate about.
Preach. I
Absolutely.
love it.
So tell me, do you have a set of core values? We talk about core values extensively in the six C's to making your passions pay, and how they create
Hmm.
clarity and connection and community and culture
Hmm.
within an
Hmm.
organization. So tell me
Yep,
about,
I'm going to pop those up right now.
oh,
Absolutely. When
awesome.
I went through about two different sets of mission statements and core values, and this is my little hot take on this, Luann. Startups, when it's you and maybe two or three other dudes, the need of having mission statements and core values are really just a warm and fuzzy. But when you scale, that's when you have other people doing the work that the founder was doing and not going to have that founder looking over them. Those mission statements and those core values are going to be the navigational buoys in which they operate in.
Oh,
You
I
know
love
that,
that.
for Amazon, it was the customer centric, customer obsession. They actually called it in Amazon. And, I'll be honest, there's been times where I'm like, I'm not being customer obsessive right now. I need to focus on this a little bit more. And that was the first time in my life I was like, oh, I'm really appealing or adhering to the core values. And then I started thinking about it. I was doing that every day in the Army. Like the Army was built on that. And it was built into the fabric of the culture. And
Of
that's
course
when core
it is.
values and mission statements work very well. It's day one, foundational thought. And as a founder or as a CEO, beating that information so often that you feel silly saying it. Like I make sure I always say, guys, we got to focus on this. And to the point where it's a joke, where it's like, all right, we get it, we get it. But the goal is that if you make it so simple and repetitive so often and delivered in a way that's inviting and encouraging, people latch onto that in a heartbeat. And that's another really cool thing. So, but to answer your question, we have passion over perfection. We hire people who love what they do, enthusiasm, curiosity, and heart of the matter more than memorizing facts. If you are excited, your guests will be too. Second core value is history deserves honesty. We tell Nashville's true story, not the sugar-coated version. From the Civil War battles to the civil rights marches, we honor the full scope of the city's past. Service with heart. As a veteran-founded company, service is in our DNA. We will serve our guests with warmth, our team with respect, and our community with action. We also donate 1% of revenue to our veteran-focused nonprofits. That's kind of our shtick. Number four is be so good they can't ignore you. We strive for excellence in every tour, every interaction, every day. Our goal to be the best experience our guests have in Nashville. Period. Full stop there. Number five, community over competition. We collaborate with local businesses, distilleries, musicians, and nonprofits because we are rising together. When the city thrives, we thrive. Last, we walk the walk. We don't just talk about integrity, grit, and resilience, we live it. From showing up on time to going the extra mile for guests, we lead by example. And that's just me reading it to you, but that's the second version of that. The first version was about a tenth of the verbiage.
Those are beautiful. I mean, I kind of feel like I want to adopt them. Excellent job. I
Thank you.
wanted
Thank you, Miss Luann.
I want my audience to notice there are 6 of them, not 10, not 20, 6 of them. In the work we do with the passion test, we actually try and keep it to 5. But if somebody's really passionate about a piece of it, then absolutely 6 is good. But the point of it is that you should be able to memorize them. And as you said, say it so often and so much that everybody, it becomes like silly.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Yep.
so good. It's so good and so important. And I think something else that you did that's really cool is starting with 3 people, right? Yourself and maybe just a couple others to begin this conversation is way easier than when you have a company of 15 even or 30 people and now you're having to try this conversation. It's so much more difficult. And we start with coming from the owner's heart. So I would have started working with you, Paul, and then I would have brought your team in, is how we do that work to uncover those core values. So super great job that you did. I just love that. And I love how you can really articulate those because that's important. I've called business owners and asked them to tell me about their core values, and they go, well, let me see if I can find them, and then I'll read them to you. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. If that's the case, then you're yet to implement them. You may have written
Mhm.
them, but you're yet to live them, and it's about living them every day. I think I've said
Mhm.
this before on the show, but it's okay. I heard once that Nordstrom's has a 1-page employee manual, and it says, do the next right thing. Do the next right thing in alignment with our core values, and we're going to back you every time. And
I
then
love that.
you have to ingrain those core values into your team so well that every decision they make is based on those core values. And so I love what we were talking about, even at Amazon, even though you know you don't ever want to work there again, but that you did remember the people centric in your daily
Mhm.
work habits.
Mhm.
And that's
Amen.
the power of core values. That in our daily work habits, we remember them and we take action accordingly and serve our clients accordingly. So I get a little passionate about core values because I think every company needs to have that foundation on which to build. And you talked about that too, right? It seems silly when you're one person or even two or three, but if you want to scale, it becomes
Hmm.
more and more important the bigger that you get. But
Amen.
even for me as a solopreneur, I just had a mastermind call yesterday, and we were revisiting our core values and reminding about that. And it's always good to come back to that foundation for yourself. And so,
Hmm.
if not reviewing them on a daily or weekly or monthly basis, at least annually, a business owner, solopreneur should be going through them. A company like yours, though, you're right. It's really about every day we talk about them.
Yep. And we've been blessed because we don't have high attrition. But I tell you, these companies that, go through people, I mean, you got to really dig it in deep early and
Uh,
really got to ensure that it's followed. And
so
I don't know
here's the
how
deal,
these folks
Paul.
do it with high attrition. Hmm?
Here's the deal, Paul. The folks with high attrition are not doing it right because
Yeah.
if they were really grounded in their core values, right? And hired people based on passion in alignment with those core values, they would have less turnover.
It's
That is the
true.
key. That is the
Hmm.
key. So anyone with high turnover should ask themselves the question, are we living our core values? Do we have those core values? Right? I'm going to step back here because I want to get back to that veteran conversation. And I love that you said you learned this structure in the military. And of course, it makes perfect sense that there is a definite culture in the military arena and
Hmm.
different. No, I think I would have heard them call them codes instead of core values before, right? In the movies or
Hmm.
what have you. I've never been in the military, but absolutely, I can see where you would have learned this in the military
Hmm.
environment. So powerful. So, what did you say about veterans? You said there's a whole nother thing.
Oh
And
yeah, I got a little hot take on that, but I remember what the Army's, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage, selfless service, honor, integrity, personal courage. Yeah, yeah, it was spelled leadership. It was not spelled right, but it looked like leadership. And like even like the NCOER, the non-commissioned officer evaluation reports, they would have loyalty, duty, respect, honor, like had that listed by letter. And the way they promoted an NCO was to see how is that soldier adhering to that value. And so, how is he being loyal? How is he demonstrating duty, selfless service, honor, integrity, person? That was a whole thing. And it was from the corporal down to the sergeant major of the Army, and had that listed on there. So, it's kind of interesting. But
so that's
regarding veteran, hmm?
before we go there, that's another tip, folks, is to um, create an acronym of the core values. If you can do that,
Hmm.
then that's a great place to help people memorize the rest of the words, right? Or like my 6 C's, right? They all start with C. And so it's easy for people to go, okay, and keep that in their mind. So go ahead. Tell us
Hmm.
your take
So,
on the veteran community.
So the veterans entrepreneurship community. So I started my business from the veterans entrepreneurship program at University of Tennessee Chattanooga when I was really wanting to, when I was on the good idea ferry, was whispering in my ear if I should do this, it helped solidify it. But as I was more in the veteran community, especially us fellow combat vets, I got this unique thing, this vibe that it was all a lot of echo chambers. You go to the veteran VFW, of course, that's going to be that. But even if you go to veterans entrepreneurship events, one thing that drives me crazy, and this is a hot take, Miss Luann, that drives me a little crazy is whenever we go to these entrepreneurship events for veterans, they'll have the two-star general or a one-star general give a speech. That one-star general hasn't ever started a business, hasn't
Right.
done anything with a business. And us military people want to have someone to look up to. And the easy answer to that is get the two-star up there, get the one-star up there, get the old brigade commander over it. I think there needs to be a shift where veteran entrepreneurship groups need to do two things. One, ensure that veterans get out of that warm and fuzzy echo chamber and get involved with other successful entrepreneurs, because the people you are connected with are the people who rise up with you. If you're in a good network of people, we all, the dough rises up. Second thing is we need to start worshiping, and I mean this, like not worshiping the two-star general who got done being in the military serving that capacity, is now on the board of Raytheon, but the E6 who got out and started a killer plumbing business, who
Right.
has $1 million business, who was in the military for 4 years, went and pivoted, used those values in the military, and all of a sudden
Yes.
he's killing it. He's got 8 employees. He's having a great life. Kids going to college, not taking loans. That's the success story. And I wish
Yes.
veterans would kind of get out of that echo chamber a little bit and start really kind of hyper focusing on success as the normal entrepreneurial spheres define it. And we started our first, we started the Nashville Entrepreneurship meeting. It starts March 18th at the Entrepreneurship Center. And I'm pushing that heavy. That is my whole goal with this group, is to
Okay.
ensure that this is not the echo chamber of other groups. This is engagement with the community.
Right. So, wow, my head's just spinning because I have ideas, right? First of all,
Hmm?
you introduce me to any of those successful veteran entrepreneurs, and I'll put them on the show. I'll bring them
Yeah,
on
I'll
the
put a
show.
note of that. Yeah.
We'll start to highlight them here on the podcast. Um,
Love it.
Never heard that terminology before, Paul. Veteran entrepreneurship. Never heard
Yeah.
that terminology before, right? So here as a business coach in the community, I could be serving that population and I've never heard it before. So
And
happy
that
to,
is not a slight on you. I'll be honest with you. That is a bubble that likes to stay in their own confines of that,
that's right. So you and
circle.
I can help build a bridge between those two bubbles and bring the veteran community to the entrepreneur community that I know, right?
Amen. And I'm doing
And
it in Middle Tennessee. Let's work together, Miss Luann.
I
Let's
love
change
that.
the world, you and I. I love
I
it.
love that. Well, and I've told you should check out BNI. And today my BNI badge is on my nameplate here today because for some reason I couldn't get rid of it. So you got to do a plug for BNI today. And so I use my business coaching skills in my business and as a chapter success coach for the BNI organization, which for those who may not know stands for Business Network International. We're the world's largest network organization. We're represented in 76 countries, and we have chapters all over the US as well. And so I'm encouraging Paul to get involved in Nashville. But now, Paul, we need to take this message and how can we connect the BNI organization, Business Network International, with the veteran community? We actually have a bonus for veterans who join the organization of additional 3 months on their membership and thank
Ooh,
you for serving. So, veterans reach out to me, reach out to Paul, whichever one you're most comfortable with. If you're looking to be an entrepreneur, we want to help. We want to help. We want to
maybe we
raise
can
you
get
up.
y'all. I know Nashville's got like 80,000 BNI chapters. BNI is huge in Nashville. But maybe we can get maybe our own BNI chapter. Maybe there's a way we can do that as well. And maybe
I
that's
think
some
now
good
that you,
idea fairy moments. I'm getting some whispers. I think this
I
might work,
do,
Miss Luann.
I do think there is a somewhere in the country a
Mhm.
veteran specific BNI chapter. I'll have to look into that and get back to you on that, Paul. And if any of my listeners are in BNI and know the answer to that question, feel free to reach out to me. My name's always displayed here. You can look me up on the BNI app and find me and reach out. That would be awesome. So, oh, this is excellent. And this is what we call collaboration, folks. It's one of the 6 C's in the Make Your Passion Pay playbook. So, we're creating an example here today of collaboration. And this is my favorite thing to do. Dr. Meisner, the founder of BNI, calls it the third paradigm. I don't even remember the first two. The second one was competition, and that's what we're just coming out of. And the third paradigm is collaboration and co-opetition, actually, right? And so I love to collaborate with other people and help both parties and the people we affiliate with rise up and be successful. And that's
Love it.
so important in your business for the C of collaboration. So the 6 C's again, as a quick reminder, our connection. What are Paul and I doing? We're connecting, and we're connecting to our communities. The second one is community. Surround yourself with a supportive community because it is hard to be an entrepreneur by yourself. But when you've got a supportive community of other entrepreneurs, they lift you up and we keep each other going, right? And then there is clarity on your vision. Where are you going? Where are you taking this? The core values are in that connection, connecting to those core values and creating clarity with your core values. Okay, so the core values are in all of these, right? It also builds community. By the way, B&I has an excellent set of core values that we read in our chapters every single week, right? Because it builds community within our chapters within our organization. Fantastic. And then collaboration, as I said, and creativity. You can see Paul's been very creative, and started up his business. By the way, you told me you started just doing this on weekends for fun.
Yeah. I started this. So I was still with Amazon. One thing I push on people is there. I don't know if you know who Chris Rock is. I'm a huge Chris Rock guy. I love Chris Rock. Chris Rock has a great stand-up bit, and
Yep.
unfortunately, it's 100% true. And that is follow your dreams if it's hiring. And I love that. The best way to gauge the
Say that again.
feasibility, it is follow your dreams if they're hiring.
Ah,
And
got it.
the best way to gauge the likelihood of success is a soft launch. And so what I did is on the weekends, while I was still working with Amazon in the corporate Amazon sphere, I would give free tours on the weekend and I'd just have fun. I'd do it at 10 a.m. on a Saturday. And I remember I'd call, significant other, be like, hey, I made 40 bucks today, high five. And I would do that. And I learned pretty quickly this is working. And by the time I left Amazon, I had this beautiful thing. I didn't even know what the term for it was then, but proof of concept. And so when I quit
Right.
my job, I knew that I was not, you know, I wasn't throwing, anything on the blackjack table. I actually knew what was likely going to occur. I knew that I was not going to go in debt in 3 months. I knew that this was a sustainable practice. Now, the question of it surviving 6 months, I didn't know, but there is a whole benefit of removing the worry and doubt that can come from not knowing. The best way to gauge the likelihood of success is through a soft launch. So I started on the weekend, started this thing with $3,600. The LLC created a website, partnered with a company called Tours by Foot, which took a commission out of overall ticketed sales. I did not have to pay them anything up front. And we just, saw what happened. And now look at us, Tennessee General Manager of the Year, Nashville 40 under 40, all within a year and a half, because we had that warm and fuzzy of the likelihood of success through a successful soft launch.
All within a year and a half.
Oh
Now,
yeah, yeah.
wait a minute. From the date of your first free tour that you did to today, how many years?
Let's see. I gave my first free tour on my birthday. I'm not going to say my birth year because people are going to know how old I am. But that was the 17th of November. And that way, if I failed, I still had a reason to celebrate. And that was 2023. I quit my real job in February 2024. So I've been doing this, yeah, 2025. So I'll be hitting my second year of full operation next month.
And look how successful you are already. And
Yes, ma'am.
already you've said to me that you want to expand into other cities,
Yes, ma'am.
right? And so
Again,
if you are listening and you're sitting in another city like Chattanooga, or give me another one, Paul.
next I'm thinking Louisville.
Louisville sounds like fun. Anyway, if you're sitting there and you can help Paul get started in that, perhaps a partnership could be born out of that. He's got the knowledge. If you're a history buff, you'd like to start your own business, talk to Paul. right?
Oh, I tell you, I would love
You can
that.
have
And I got to tell
Chattanooga
you,
Adventures and Louisville Adventures, and I love it. I do
love it.
retreats that are called joyful adventures.
Oh, I love it. That's a good one to trademark if you haven't trademarked it yet. That's a good
Ah,
trademark right there.
thank you.
That's a good name. But I will tell you, I started this from me reaching out to someone who would eventually become my mentor. The importance of learning from others' mistakes, as long as you can be coached, is another major variable that will increase the likelihood of you succeeding in the equation of business. Do not be afraid to ask someone for help. Do not be afraid to say, I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. What would you do if you were me? And that's where B&I sounds like it really comes into handy because you got all these other folks who are doing the same thing you are. So I
Well,
always try to push that as well.
I was employed by someone else when I started BNI. And when we
Mm,
parted ways, I looked around the room at the other entrepreneurs in the room and I said, if these people can run their own business, so can I. And I knew,
amen.
I mean, BNI was established to create referral opportunities that we literally promote each other to our circle of influence. But what it has more of is that community of support of other people that are entrepreneurs wanting to succeed. And they're always ready when they've succeeded to help the next person to succeed. That's just an entrepreneurial trait that I see. Let me show you what I
Amen.
went through and help you get to your next level. And so, yeah, that's a lot about what we're doing here in Make Your Passion Pay podcast is lifting up the entrepreneurs of the world and sharing their stories and letting you know that you too can make your passion pay by following that passion, and we'll show you how. So reach out to me at luannb.com. You can get a free consultation on my website at luannb.com. Paul, tell us how we can find you so that we can visit you when we come to Nashville.
Oh, don't tempt us with a good time. We're at NashvilleAdventures.com. You can reach me personally at Paul at NashvilleAdventures.com. You can find us at TheNashvilleAdventures.com on Instagram, Nashville Adventures on TikTok, same for the Facebooks. You name it. If you Google us, you'll find us. And if you're ever in Nashville, we hope to give you the best time and just give us the opportunity to blow your minds. We know we will.
Awesome. Awesome. So, Paul, in BNI, it's not about having a bunch of other tourism folks in the same chapter with you. It's about the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the world who knows the people that are connected, right? So if it's the plumber and he knows the plumber group in town or the plumbers convention coming to town, you get that idea, right? So it's reaching
There ain't
out,
nothing like convention money.
it's
There ain't
reaching
nothing like
outside of
convention money.
your community and helping get into
Yep.
other people's communities. All right, that was just
Yes,
one
ma'am.
last tidbit I have to give Paul. You can see that Paul and I have a little connection here. That's because we're both Scorpios, born in November. And I'm gonna bet it's
Love it.
probably pretty close to the same year too.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for being with us today. I think we'll invite you back another time because you're so much fun.
Oh, you're the best, Miss Luann. Thanks for having me on.
Everybody have a great day and make sure you're making your passion pay. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Make Your Passion Pay. If today's episode inspired you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a rating, and share your thoughts in a review. Every listener makes a difference in spreading this mission of joy and purpose. Want to take the next step? Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, or anyone looking to build a thriving, values-driven workplace. Together, we can create communities where passion fuels success. Until next time, remember, when you lead with joy, you inspire greatness. Let's keep making your passion pay.